Hello and good afternoon. I'm Alexander Wallace, and with me I've got Gianni Winchurch, and we are in the face of.
We are in the face of today's topic. We're going to talk about determination. So I'm going to pass it over to Alex. What does that mean?
Well, determination. Well, determination for us is going to be what we do in weightlifting, isn't it? It's going to be bodybuilding. A lot of our determination is getting up in the morning, every single morning, going to the gym. It's meal prepping. It's everything around what we have to do in our normal lives, just for for the sake of being healthier and fitter.
Yeah. And then, of course, with the gym, that's a big important topic, and we'll cover a little bit more of that after. But in general, like, for your day to day, what do you think it means to have determination? To be able to go out there and to be able to, live that full day, or live that day to the fullest, and to get the most out of it, really.
Well, it depends what you define it as determination as. I mean, it's a very black and white thing as it is. You're not half determined, are you? You're going to get up in the morning and do something. You're just going to do it. There's no like, I was debating it, or I was thinking about it, and then I ended up not doing it. If you're going to do it, you'll just do it because you want something. That idea of determination is the idea that nothing is going to stop you. If you want something, you're going to
get it.
And if you're going to get it, it's going to happen when you say on your terms.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how I see determination is like waking up every morning and going like, hey, I want to go to the gym and I want to be healthier and fitter and stronger. And how far do you want that?
Exactly. And for you, those of you who don't know, myself and Alex, we go to the gym quite regularly. We've formed a habit. We've been doing this now for about a year and a half. As the point of recording, probably later down the line it'll be a lot longer than that. But for us, what it is really, I think it's kicking the bad habits, and we'll talk a little bit more about that after and what those mean. But it's more creating the new habits that serve you and your core values. And now, of course, we're not going to go into too much detail about those today. We'll save that for another time. But for today and for you guys out there, I want you to, by the end of this podcast, I want you guys to be able to have full clarity of what it means to have determination and how that can affect your day to day. What are your thoughts on that?
Determination, it's not a day-to-day thing. I think it's something that you either have or you don't have.
Well, yeah.
There's no debating it. For me, obviously, for my true determination is just going to the gym. It's trying to show that you've got that lifestyle that you want to be living, and getting up every single morning, and no matter how tired you are, because I get up some mornings and I just want to stay in bed and crying.
I think we all want to stay in bed some mornings.
Crap all
until I'll do anything.
Realistically, what I want more, what you want and what you need, two different things. And determination, it's not something that you absolutely need, but it'll feel like you need to do it.
Implementing determination in your life, would you agree it massively has a big knock-on effect? When you wake up in the morning and like you said, you don't, you can stay in bed all day, you don't want to do anything. And again, for people, a lot of people listening to this podcast might feel that way. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do it. But it's being able to just kick the habit and just doing it anyway, regardless, because it's serving you. And that's the key important thing. You're doing something that's going to benefit you, like going to the gym in the morning. You might not feel like it in the morning. It might be cold outside, it might be raining, it might be wet, whatever reason it might be. We all make excuses. And that's another thing. It's, don't make the excuses. Just do the thing that is going to benefit you at work, studying, in this case, going to the gym and being healthy. When you're done with that, by all means, if you want to take a nap in the day and you've got time, go for it. But it's being able to make sure you do the things that you set out to do and sticking to it. You promised yourself and you uphold that promise, right? Yeah.
Well, I think... Go ahead.
And I was just thinking, what are your thoughts then on generally for society? Modern day, we all talk about in the past, how people used to be proud and they used to be, you sort of have that old school ethos, right? And you look at it these days, you think people have, lost touch with that way?
Yes and no. I'd say that things change. I think a lot of, in terms of societal progression or regression, it depends on how you're looking at it.
Yeah.
A lot of people would see determination as simply just getting out of bed in the morning because it's so difficult. Because if life is a struggle, simply just getting out of bed is so much of a struggle that you have to be determined to do it. And I'd say it's more about where you are in yourself. I mean, a lot of what you were talking about when in reinforcing good habits, I'd say that from somebody who's had a lot of bad habits, just developing one good one, like getting out of bed in the morning, with no matter what days, even on a rest day, getting out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning, building that good habit, just reinforce more and more, and you will keep building on it until eventually you've snuffed everything out that
would
doesn't
you say-
serve you a purpose.
Exactly. And would you say it gets easier with time?
Oh yeah, it's. I've always been a bit of a morning person. For me, it's quite easy.
But yeah, have you ever?
I'll just wake up, and the first thing I'll think about when I wake up in the morning is I'm hungry. If I'm gonna lie in bed, I'm not gonna gain
Food.
and I'm hungry.
That's yeah.
I think that's my main point of why I get up.
It's like a mission. Gonna go to the kitchen, make some scran,
And make some scratch.
Scrap.
Out of bed.
and then go to the gym.
No, I've got to roll up in the morning, order the food on my phone, and then all the way to the front door.
I know.
Go and get it.
No. We're not promoting that. Don't.
No, yeah, we don't.
Don't get McDonald's.
We do not promote Deliveroo or anyone who sells any kind of crap food. We're all
Crap food.
all for healthy.
Healthy eating is important. That's good.
I'd say that. What would you think about determination, and not just in a personal sense, but in a sense of like when you see all of the people around you and how they would perceive it. Like obviously we've got our views on things, but determination in its absolute like dictionary definition isn't what it's generally perceived to be.
No, right. I think for myself, again, everyone with the term determination, it depends how you see it. Like you said, some people may be determined in the morning to go and order some food and shuffle over to the front door. Right. So I think for me, with determination, I completely agree with what you've said. It's getting up in the morning, it's building that routine, and it's sticking to it. But it's not just that. It's everything around that. So you're forming these good habits, right? And these are supposed to serve your core values. So let's say you want a healthy lifestyle and you want to get out of bed in the morning and you're not sure where to start, but that's it. You're starting. You've got the thoughts.
Going for
You
it.
just got to go for
Yeah,
it.
you just got to do it.
You know,
Do or don't do. Don't try.
exactly. Yeah, like Master Yoda said in what was it, Empire or something?
There is no try.
Yeah, do or do not.
That's not where that was from. I swear that was a quote from someone else.
That was Master Yoda.
That was
the
a quote.
Jedi Council.
Close to quoting Yoda. We'll have some other famous people quotes.
We'll stick that on social media. See that one later on. Just on in the face of Instagram page, you're just going to get a random post saying "do or do not." There is no try. But I completely agree. It's so for myself and with Alex, Alex has been at university. He's gone through that whole process. Myself, I've left university, and whoa, right? But for us, we've established what we've wanted to do, and we're young. We're young men, and it's difficult as well in this day and age for young people to know what they want to do. I mean, look at the economy, look at the state of the world. Our parents and our grandparents, they will come to us, or even other family members that you may have. They come to you and they will give you their old ways, or they'll share their ways, and they'll talk about their financial advice and this and that. But the world is not the same as it used to be, and that's what's so important. And that ties in with what it is we're talking about today, because you need to establish
what you want, how you're going to get it.
How you're going to get it.
I think that a lot of people don't really know what they want to do, simply just because they're pushed so quickly. The minute you leave school, and the minute you're pushed to go to college, and the minute you're pushed once you start down a certain path, it's incredibly difficult to go down another one.
Right.
So a lot of people are told the minute that they go to college, have they got the right GCSEs? And if you've got the right GCSEs, and if you don't. So it's one of those things where...
And society just forces you down a funnel.
Yeah. And you've got a funnel, and once you're in that, and once you're doing it, and you need to be able to contribute, in the way that everyone wants you to do.
Yeah.
When you get to the point that you're at university and you're going, well, a lot of people are doing it simply because the parents might want them to, or simply because, or the age-old, I had the grades.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, and people we've spoken to, and people I've talked to, and they're miserable because your parents will have expectations of you growing up, and we all have them. Whether it's going to university or it's going to get a job to help financially, help bring in some money for the family, whatever it may be, they will have their core values that they stand by and what they believe in. And it can be really good and really bad at the same time for you as an individual. So they may pass on their knowledge and experience from their lifetime, which is great. That's what parenting's for. But sometimes I think, I wouldn't say so much for myself, but, people around me and people I've spoken to, and why we're here and why we're doing this is because you're not alone if that is you, and it's being able to identify what it is you stand for and what it is that you want, And those values may be great and they may serve you, but some of them may not be. And it's being able to differentiate from the two and being able to actually go, hang on a minute, this isn't going to serve me for the future, you know, looking forward. What are the positives moving forward? Because, yeah, go to university, get a degree, become a doctor, become a lawyer, go get a job, this, that. But do you know how many people are miserable? Was it like
Quite a lot.
what's the percentage on that?
I don't know. I don't think they did a poll on these things of how miserable is your life. Like, I think a lot of people they get trapped in and they just go, right, okay, I'm just going to suffer this. And
Yeah.
not everyone does jobs that they absolutely love. Some people enjoy the lifestyle of making a lot of money. They don't particularly like the job, but they like the fact that they might make 150k doing it.
Yeah.
So, but for people who obviously are really passionate about what they do, they need to keep that passion. And I feel that sometimes the education system is a really, really good way of completely destroying that passion altogether, because it regiments something like art, for instance. Like what I do a degree in fine art or I'm about to graduate for a degree in fine art for all the
All the customers.
For all the customers. I'm not going to cut that out. For all of our viewers. And I find that a lot of the idea of regimenting it, I mean, it's not too focused, but when you put into boundaries, you're not fully able to express yourself in the way that you see fit. It's always towards somebody else's brief or somebody else's agenda, or you can never truly sort of get there unless you're totally in control, I find.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And, you know, the way society is built and the way that so many people go about their lives, and, you know, it's sort of automated at this point. You go to school, like you said, you get your GCSEs, you go to college.
Depends on how clever you are.
Yeah, there we go. And then whether or not you're smart enough, you go to university. You then get a degree, and which you get loans for, and then you go get a job paying whatever it may pay. But if that serves you and your values and you're determined to reach that outcome and that's what you want, fantastic.
Something you really want.
Something you really want. And it's being able to identify that.
To help people.
Yeah.
And you will study for 6 years.
Yeah, do it. Exactly.
And you think that helping people will...
Sorry, we're not just slating you, like going to university and getting a degree, but it's, you know, if that's what you want to do, and that's, I think, for young people especially, and young professionals, anyone who's just graduated or anyone who's maybe, you know, just going into the professional sector or starting out. I've worked in office roles and I hate them. Some people love them. I can't stand the 9-to-5 mentality. I don't like the culture.
The old suit and tie. Polish me brogues when I come home. And I couldn't imagine working in a corporate job, because I don't think I would be capable of just being in a block office space or a white room. That's why I don't spend a lot of the time in my art studio, just because it's a solid, massive white room with no natural light and just white lights everywhere. And I find that really off-putting. When I work, I like to be in a comfortable setting.
But if you're in art as well, you want it to be like a nice creative space. You want to be comfortable in your space.
You don't just want the look of an unpadded cell. Or that's what they look like, a lot of them. And I think that's what I imagine like office blocks are a bit like, because I just couldn't picture that, you know, the whole like the sort of square foam sort of roofs that they've got on there, the lovely white lights and
No, not for me. And, you know, for any of you who feel that way, where you're going to work and you may not be that happy, and you've got, I don't know, you're doing it, you know, it maybe bringing you a bit of money in, but ultimately it doesn't serve you and what you truly want. Or maybe you don't know what you want, but you know that's not what you want. And that's where you start, right? And that's the best time to start, is enough is enough. I need to do something to implement change.
How can I make that
How
change?
can I make those changes?
Well, for us, a lot of that was just starting to do weightlifting, and then it sort of spiraled out into the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
What would you say that would be the best way of starting to identify these changes, or not identify the changes, but identify what's wrong? Like, how would you go about it to do it? Because I think a lot of people don't know why they're miserable. Yeah. A lot of people, when they go, are you having a bad day? And you go, why? And they're like, I get a lot of M's and buts and there's not a definitive reason for why somebody's feeling crap, because they generally feel a bit crap most days.
Yeah. I mean, we all feel crap. It's human. You know, we're going to have our up days. We're going to have our down days. There's days where we feel on top of the moon. There's days we feel miserable as hell. But we've just got to make sure that we do the things that we set out to do. And
don't worry. Be happy.
Yeah. And for what you said...
I'm going to stop quoting films, I promise.
And for what you said, being able to identify it, or knowing when to start, or how to find the problem, and it can be quite hard. I'm 23. I've never really had anyone around to support me with, like mentally. So I had quite a few problems growing up. We've all got our problems. We can sit here and talk all about the negatives all day, but that's not what we're here for. What I would say is the best thing is you really need to sit with yourself and understand yourself. You need to understand who you are and what you want, because we are surrounded by so many distractions these days, and the biggest one of all is your freaking telephone. People on that all the time, distract themselves with all sorts of what it might be. And no, we don't want to do the hard work because it's difficult. There might be a business you want to start, but you don't want to start. You don't know how to start. That's when is the right time to do it. When you have the idea to do something, it might not be that. It might be going to the gym. It might be starting a new hobby, whatever it may be. As long as you've got that thought and you've got that burning passion to do the thing, just do it. Because all you can do is you give it a go and you don't like it, fair enough. But it's taking that leap, and so many people don't manage to take that leap.
And that's what defines you as a person.
Exactly.
Is whether you actually go through things. Everyone's got great ideas, everyone's got groundbreaking things, and everyone has the opportunity to be a multi-millionaire or to be the greatest doctor in the world or to be the biggest bodybuilder. Like, if you want something enough and you're determined to do it, you will get it no matter what. Exactly. I think that's probably the best definition of what determination really is.
Exactly. It's just
of going, I've got this. How do I actualize, and how do I bring this idea into my head and give it this physical presence in reality and make actually real?
Exactly.
As real as a cup that you can touch.
As Napoleon Hill once said, there's a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and it's full of fables and stories, like real stories, and it's one of my favourites, and you're still getting through it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still
and
plowing through, mate.
There are so many things in there, because 5 feet from gold, you got that bit?
Yeah, I'm on Henry Ford at the minute.
Henry Ford.
It's an amazing one. You'd be kicking yourself if that was you.
Exactly. So do you want to share a bit of that story with
the 5 feet from gold? Yeah, it was a really good one, actually. It was these gentlemen, it's just through the gold rush in California, I believe. And they found this gold vein, and they were digging down to it, and they'd run dry. And obviously, it's where you find gold, generally going to end up finding more. They were digging and digging and digging until eventually they went, oh, well, this is crap, and we're not finding anything. And then they gave up. And then somebody had that land surveyed, and they found out that there's 10 feet below from when there was
5 feet.
5 feet, sorry. 5 feet.
Yeah.
You can exaggerate stories like
10 feet's fine.
You can exaggerate stories on podcasts, Stu, okay? Right? As long as they don't read it afterwards. And after they realised that the surveyor was only 5 feet, and they realised if they had just went going that a little bit more and they kept pushing, a lot of people will give up right when it gets really hard. And if you just went that little bit further, you'd actually
they found tenfold of what the original vein was.
10 times the size, and you'd be worth 10 times the money.
Yeah.
And I do like the original story part of the gentleman who they went round, they'd sourced the way to find the money, they'd sourced the equipment, and then got the equipment all the way there. And that is almost like a really sort of really sad aspect to see somebody work so hard and then give up right before the finish line and go, And you can't think of how many people must do that on a normal basis. Go, it's difficult now, so I'm going to pack it in. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I almost packed in my degree a couple of times just because I was having to work so much while I was doing it. I wasn't in the best headspace. My life was just absolutely in shambles.
And it is hard.
It's hard to keep going at something. And I did keep going. And I powered through, maybe didn't utilize my time at university in the second year the best, but I've made sure to not make that mistake again.
Exactly.
Now I'm graduating, hopefully.
And that's it, being able to identify mistakes that you make. And that goes back on what we were saying about your core values. Doing things that, serve you, and you know what's right and wrong. We all have our moral compass. And being able to understand that, let's say, for example, you have an off week. We all have an off week or an off day or an off month. You could even, sometimes it's just...
Years are always fun.
And those, yeah. But you might not be feeling your best. And the biggest thing, and I think the best thing to do, is at the end of the day or at the end of the week, just sitting alone with yourself and reflecting on how your day went or how your week went, and how you... And then look a little bit more into the future of what you want exactly. So let's say you're in university and you're going for a degree, or you've just got a new job and you're excited, you're anticipating, or you're a bit anxious, whatever you may be feeling. To be able to understand...
Don't get anxious.
Don't get anxious. Being able to understand what it is that you want. What is your desired outcome? And if that aligns with what your goals are and what your values are, you will move mountains. I'm telling you, people who can truly connect with whatever outcome it is they may be, you will move mountains to reach whatever it is. You
The
think
best way to do that was journaling. I swear to God, because once you write stuff down and you actually
yeah.
got it physically, it's in front of you. The minute you seem to put things on paper,
We started that recently, didn't you?
yeah. Well, the minute you put something on a piece of paper, it's in front of you. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can hold it, and it's got this sense of reality.
Yeah.
That means when you write down the things that you're going to do in a day, or you make your week plan, you will do them.
I will do them.
You will be absolutely furious that you haven't done it because it's
a
almost
point.
like you cheated on yourself.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because you can tell someone you're going to do something or whatever. You can tell your mum or you can tell your friends or whatever, you're going to do something. And then you might not do it. And then they'll ask you, I go, yeah, it was okay. But if you tell yourself, and if you have any respect for yourself as well, and you go, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times this week, or I'm going to eat a bit healthier, I'm going to cut out full fat Coca-Cola, I'm going to drink Diet Coke for a week.
Well, never.
And then on the weekend, I might treat myself to a Coca-Cola, or I might treat myself to a burger, because all week I've been eating healthy and I deserve that as a reward. And you do deserve a reward. We're not just saying it's completely bleak, it's miserable.
Regiment your life and only chicken and rice. And
Only chicken and rice.
only drink water and drink decaf tea. And, you shouldn't do anything nice. We're obviously not saying that. If you think, oh, I've been really good, and say like I want to cut my drinking down. I used to drink a lot, and how I did it, and I didn't just stop. I cut down, and eventually just formed habits of doing it less and less. Of going do it on a weekend, and then just do it once a week, and then just going, I'm not going to do it at all.
Aligning your core values.
It's baby steps is definitely the way to go in changing your life. Because trust me when I say those little baby steps, because you won't go back. If you try and jump,
That's really important, because look at a marathon runner, for example, right? This marathon runner will train years to run that marathon. It will take them a very long time. Do you think they go out immediately and they've gone from being a couch potato to being able to run, I don't know, an entire marathon? No chance. It's one day at a time. Track your progress, and the only person you should be comparing yourself to is yourself. The version of you yesterday, compare yourself to that person and make yourself better moving forward. Because what that will allow you to do over time, so I've been putting this into practice now for about 2 years. I was very miserable when I was younger, but we could talk about that in another episode.
We'll do therapy episodes.
We'll do therapy episodes later
when we've got viewers who can give us like really nice advice afterwards and make us feel better about ourselves.
Well, no, yeah, yeah, right, okay. But look, you're not alone out there, and with things like this, we can spend so much time on, and we do. We spend loads of time on social media. You found our podcast. Thank you, by the way. You better hit that follow button. It's really important.
It is, yes.
It's incredibly important. That object is super shiny. Speaking of shiny objects.
Shiny objects. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, well, obviously, we don't want people to be drowning themselves in social media, but it's more than likely, it's how you're going to be finding our podcast and how you're going to be changing. So this is like the swings and roundabouts theory, isn't it? You don't get a swing, you get a roundabout.
Drains and radiators.
Drains and radiators.
So I would take a look at it. So we can talk about drains and radiators. Yeah. Positivity, negativity,
positive, negative people altogether.
So in your life, you will be surrounded what we like to call drains and radiators. And if you use this term around other people, they'll probably think it's hilarious, but it's true.
It's very true.
It's essentially a drain is the way you put it. Like water fills up and it goes down the drain. It's sucking in all the water, right? And we use that term for specific people. Now, Alex, what types of people are drains?
It depends. Introverted people can tend to be drains because there's certain people who tend to sit and listen a lot. They absorb information as opposed to giving it out. Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing in that respect, because introverted people who sit and listen are not probably going to be more intelligent than a lot of us.
Yeah.
But also, think of it more in a metaphorical sense of this idea of radiation, of radiating heat. It's more of an energy, an output. It's what you want to show to the world. It's what you want people around you to see.
So So with being a radiator, as it fills up with heat and it's sharing that heat, it's generating that heat, and it's offgoing. That's a positive individual. This is someone who's got a positive outlook on life. This is someone who's normally upbeat and they've got loads of energy. And when you're around them, you feel good about yourself. These are the types of people that you want to surround yourself with.
Spiritual in a sense. You meet somebody that you just know.
And that energy is just good.
And you see that lovely big smile and that lovely big attitude towards life.
You feel warm around them. You feel warm. That's the point. It's a warm embrace when you're around
somebody walking hunched down,
Yeah. And then these are drains.
With a pint hunching over, with a fat smoking, with neat teeth and all that carry on. And you'd know straight away you're going to make that connection. you're going to see somebody like that, and you're going to, obviously we don't stereotype people, but we try to do it as little as
And
possible.
there's another thing, you see it all over social media, don't you, about being judgmental and, we shouldn't be judgmental, but unfortunately, folks,
You just naturally will.
human beings, or you see someone within 2 seconds, your brain has also already analysed whether or not you like that
I
person.
reckon 40% of it is smell. But you literally can't turn your brain off in terms of certain senses. So even the smell of somebody will influence how your brain sees them. It's chemical, it's not spiritual.
Yeah. And it's crazy, all these little factors. This all plays in a big part for the main thing, determination and living that healthy lifestyle that we are trying to promote. And it's so important. I mean, you get it all over the place. People go, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. But if someone tells you you should be doing something, you're not going to go and do it. So what you need to do is I'm going to do exactly what I said we're not going to do.
Yeah, I think it's down so there.
Yeah, I did. Whoops. Cut that out anyway.
Oh no, that's going in.
God damn it. But from what I've done, where I've had people in my life tell me how I should be doing it, and it made me miserable for a very long time. Left university, went to go work a job to provide for, people around me. Same old story, probably you heard it before. But what I did is I really sat down with myself and I got to know myself a lot better. And that is the one piece of advice I would give to everyone, is just really try to understand who you are and what it is you want. And if you don't know how to start, easiest way to do it is just literally sit down, turn the lights off, close your eyes, and just sit with your thoughts for a bit and understand where those thoughts are coming from. Right.
The way I do it, and it's a way that I inspire myself into working as well when I don't want to do something, is it's sometimes really easy to say, if you're trying to think about what you want, that can be quite difficult. Yeah. But if you try to think what you absolutely despise, because everyone knows that, if you think about what you hate, and then think about why you hate it, and then think about the complete obverse of it, of just thinking like, oh, I don't like this, but why do I not like it? What can I do to change it? Is it in my power? Can I do it? Yes.
Exactly.
Boom. Start that thing. So just question things that normally you just wouldn't question on a day-to-day basis. But if you sit down and go, why do I have a pint a day? Why do I feel like I need it? Why do I smoke 20 cigarettes? Why have I been doing it for the last 5 years?
Why do I eat junk food?
Why do I eat junk food? Why am I shouting at the street all the time? Just because I'm really annoyed. Like, why?
I think for a lot of it is with individuals is the fact that it's an instant dopamine release, which is a chemical released by your brain, which makes you feel good about yourself. So when you're eating junk food, when you're drinking alcohol, and when you're smoking your cigarettes, it's releasing this chemical in your brain, which makes you feel good. Now, this is what is like an easy way to access dopamine. So you create an addiction based on that, because naturally, so people who watch, I don't know, pornographic content, smoke cigarettes, eat junk food all the time, or sugary snacks or whatever,
correlates, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you do want,
it's releasing the same chemical in your brain. This chemical would be released years ago when man had to fight bears, right? Because that was a chemical that was released to, give you the courage to be able to do it. The adrenaline and the dopamine would make you go and do that thing. Now,
I don't need the courage. I fight. That doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, I can fight a bear.
I can fight a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
But things like TikTok, social media, and all this stuff, they've been created to target that chemical in your brain. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I'm not a professional in this industry.
That's going to be another episode.
That'll be another episode, because we can talk about that all day.
Yeah. Framing, let's stay. It's going to be too difficult to have an ADHD person. That's kind of talks about the same stuff.
But it's important to identify these habits you may have that create a quick dopamine release and understand them. It's understanding that they may not be serving you as an individual in terms of for your health. And that's what we want to promote. We want to make sure that everyone's living the best lifestyle possible. We're not telling you not to enjoy these things like drinking and smoking.
Like else to overuse it.
Exactly.
A lot of people use social media. It's really easy to get radicalized by social media and to feel like you have to look at it. Like COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone was sitting on their phones watching the news.
Like
watching
video games.
Trump get re-elected and watching Biden come in, and the world was going, completely tatters. Yeah. And it's really easy to feel like you need to go on to something. And it reinforces a habit. Just like everything else, it's a habit that is quite easily shaken. But unlike alcohol, you don't have to leave the house to really get it. It's always your disposal.
And now with like Uber Eats and all these apps, the world's getting to a point now where you can just access this stuff immediately. I mean, you want a McDonald's now? Go for it. Order it on your phone.
It's silly to do it, and I don't even have to pick up my phone.
Well, yeah, and exactly, and it's great, you know, having it maybe every now and then as a reward for hard work, but it's something that shouldn't be overused, and it's easy to fall into that, you know, and being able to go over it. You might have had a bad day. I know I'm going to turn to junk food today to make me feel better.
Make you feel.
I'm gonna go out with the lads. I'm gonna go on the piss.
Don't substitute it for other bad habits.
Exactly.
Don't sit there and go, "Oh, I'm feeling bad, so I'm going to do this to make me feel better." I mean, apart from our social media accounts, by the way, our social media accounts are great, and you should always look at them.
Yeah.
But overall, it's one of them things. It's very easy. Like I noticed, the minute I stopped drinking, I ended up drinking 20 million coffees a day.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize that, and then you're like, "Oh, it's just another thing." You need to.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if not need to. Sorry. It's one of those things that, right? It's quite easy to identify. But the minute you stop doing something, like you start eating a bit healthier, or you start going to the gym, you might replace it with something else just naturally. I find that a lot of people do that. I do it. And it's really easy to then just get caught into another habit.
And for you, it's good because you managed to actually do it. But if you've done it. For some people, it's a lot harder than that. And I think as well, with all of these, what I like to call shiny objects, which basically a shiny object is what we just stated. Something, it can be used in other things, but let's say you're doing something. So let's say you're at university and you're studying for a degree because you want to be, or you're just studying law because you want to be a lawyer, right? And you want to be a lawyer for whatever reason, that's what you want. But then what happens is you get a year or so into it, and then, you know, the work piles up and you realize it's not as easy to be a lawyer as you first thought it might have been. So what happens is the Dunning-Kruger effect. And essentially, you start up with all this optimism and you're like, this is fantastic, I'm going to do this thing. And then you realize it's really hard and loads of other people are doing this thing and the competition's great and you realize it's maybe not as easy as you first thought it'd be. But hang on a minute, there's something else around the corner. There's, I don't know, another thing.
That is an amazing thing.
It's amazing you do it. And and it can make you loads of money. So what happens is you stop doing the original thing that you love and you want to do, right? And you hop over to this other thing. But like with 5 feet from gold, little do you know that if you just stuck to it a little bit longer, you would have
fun.
Exactly.
Well, that's sort of like what you want. Is it defines who you are. Is why are you doing the thing you're doing? Is it money? Is it because you love doing it? I mean, it'll determine how you actually go to achieve your goal and how far you're willing to push for it. Somebody who's determined. I mean, if you're determined to be a millionaire and that's your only thing,
your ultimate goal in life,
you will do it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a job simply because of the money in that job, can you say that you're truly determined and passionate about what you're doing? It's there's a lot of factors that you need to identify before you start to actually look at what you really want.
Yeah.
Because for most people, I don't know. I don't think anyone knows what they truly want really deep down. But I think most people don't even have an idea sometimes.
Yeah. And that's, you know, have a look at the situation you're in. Have a look at sort of the life that's around you. And is that what you want? Are you happy with that? Some people might be. You know, some people listening may be happy with what they got. But there's always something you might, you know, there's always things you want.
Trust me. If they're sitting here listening to our podcast,
yeah.
I don't
But that's it. I think getting to know yourself and being determined to reach what it is that, you know, what it is you truly want, and being able to set out and go for it and just do it. And you will get people in your life. You'll get the naysayers, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said when he did his California speech in California when he was made governor. I can't remember what year that was now.
Back in the good old days.
just when COVID happened with all the fires and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I believe what he said, you know, because he's Hollywood actor, governor, so politician and
famous bodybuilder.
Mr. Olympia. What's he got, like 8 or 9 titles?
Who wrote his own books,
all sorts.
Oh, he's
absolutely amazing guy.
He always loves it. He puts everything into everything he's doing.
Exactly.
That started through bodybuilding because it builds that discipline of going, like, if you want something, think about it and you work at it every day and you make sure you have enough rest. You make sure you're putting the right things into your body to be able to do the things you want to do.
Yeah.
Balancing everything all the time. And when you can do that at that level, you can accomplish anything.
Yeah, exactly. And it might not be bodybuilding. You may, whatever it might be that you enjoy as your hobby, you know, it could be crocheting, could be anything. But and
that's what I'm going to get into.
Do the thing.
Crocheting.
Yeah.
Crocheting, I'm quite a good stitcher, actually.
There's the 10,000 hour rule, which is if you know, do anything for 10,000 hours, you're going to be a master it. Yeah. But then back on what I was saying with Arnold is about the naysayers. You will be surrounded by people, and it could be a mum, could be your dad, it could be your grandparents, could be your best friend, could be whoever, and they might agree with you, but they disagree with you. And these people say you can't do it. Now, let's say, for example, me and Alex here, we are working on something together, and a lot of people around us don't think it's going to work. Good for them, you know.
Little do they know me. That's all I'm going to say.
You know, we're here now. We're here now recording a podcast.
Happy as Larry.
Happy as Larry.
We're working on it every day.
Working on it every day.
Could not be happier. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Skin broke.
Yeah.
No money. And I've literally never been happier in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's the only time in the last sort of 3 years that I've had so much passion.
Because he's truly connecting with what he wants to do. And if there's anything you take away from this today, it's find what it is that you want to do, stick to it, and trust me, everything just comes around it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes the only person you've got to prove to is yourself.
Yeah.
Like the reason why I've got so much into bodybuilding is if I can prove to myself that I can to go from where I was, as I used to be, you know, massively overweight and a lot of problems. And if I can,
for those of you who don't know,
for all those who don't know, i.e. everyone, but everyone that isn't you, but like,
Alex has gone out and eaten just loads of people.
If it's being able to prove that I can push my body to those limits and set myself out that goal and being able to accomplish that goal. You can do anything.
Yeah.
It's more about setting yourself those goals and actually doing them. And if you can do it, and if you can really go that hard, well, there's nothing that you can't do.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I've not really got much else to say.
I think that's a wrap for our first episode of In the Face Of.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, guys. We will be posting episodes every single week.
Yeah.
Every Monday. Yeah. I think that's a wrap.
Just go for it. Hit the follow button, social medias and that.
Good evening and good night.
And all of that. Bye-bye.